issues, what's going on, how we can fix it, real solutions that would show people that we're in the same boat together. Instead, they take both talking points and put it at each other. No solution, just problems, just confusion. And that's what they like. That's what they want to create, so they can keep us split apart and against each other. Same thing with Occupy Wall Street against the Tea Party. And in a sense, we should all be the same thing. We should all be coming together. We should be occupying the Tea Party for real. Now, some of the similarities are what? We're both against the bailout. We're both against the status quo. We both want change. We're sick of what's going on with Washington and Wall Street, and we all just want to see something different. We want more jobs, obviously. So these are things that we come together on, our anger and our frustration. Now, some of the flaws that I see, like with the Tea Party, and I'm talking about the people that are in the Tea Party and that go to the rallies. Now, I'm not speaking about the candidates. I'm not speaking about the secret elite, the higher chairmen. I'm not talking about them because we don't know who they really are. For all we know, Herman Cain could hate white people. For all we know, the people we see on TV are the actors. We see who they are told to play on TV. So who they are outside that we don't know. So we don't know their true beliefs. Now, with the people that's going to the rally, I do believe that there's a lot of goodwill, good-minded, people that are at the Tea Parties that really want to change. But what I see, these people have been misled, misguided, misinformed. And what I see is that, it's okay with cutting spending. It's okay with cutting taxes. But we're still going to be fighting these wars. We're still going to be fighting the war on terror. We're still going to be torturing. I mean, these are the things with the Tea Party that need to be addressed, and they're not. And that's being purposely done. So obviously, the Tea Party came from its roots, back from the last campaign when it started. Now, with the Occupy Wall Street, what are we seeing now? I get the sense that we're just all mad. We're all angry, upset. The problem is a lot of us don't know what we're mad at. We don't know what we're upset about. So you got people saying like, we just need to tax the rich. Well, first of all, you can tax all you want. It's not going to fix the problem. I mean, let's say they do pay more. Let's say they pay, twice as more, 3 times as more. Who's getting the money? The government's still collecting the tax money, and they're still the ones spending it. And we know they're not spending it, right? So at the end of the day, that's not going to fix it. And secondly, what else do we be hearing? We want more regulations. Okay, we need to understand this. Now, the regulators, the people that are in the regulations, that do the regulations, they're just in bed with the Wall Street criminals. Now, they make it harder. They make the environment harder to get into. They make it harder for the smaller businesses, smaller companies to compete. So they, in fact, make it easier for the bigger corporations because now you got all of these regulations that the smaller companies have to follow, and they have to make sure they get correct and they do right, or else they can be, taken out of business. But the secret elite, the higher ups, you see, they got connections. They got all that taken care of. They're one-on-one with the regulators. So in a sense, that defeats competition. It discourages. It hurts the environment. So in a sense, all you have is a bunch of fraudulent criminals running the system, and everyone else that is not in their, not in their secret elite, they have to fend for themselves. They have to fight. They have to try to keep up. Whereas the other guys don't. And so more regulations isn't going to help. And another thing that you can be hearing is people that are anti-capitalism. We have to understand that this isn't capitalism. This is more like corporatism, where the corporations control the politicians. The corporations are the puppet master. The politicians are the puppet. So in a sense, we haven't had capitalism, so we can't say that wouldn't work. We have to be mindful and be wary of these celebrities like Michael Moore who say capitalism is a problem. Now, think about it. If this was capitalism, these banks would have went bankrupt. They would have had to get, be out the way. Basically, they'd be run out of town and be done with. Now, because we don't live in a free market society, we live in a country where the government is getting involved and the government is helping these people with our tax money. So what's happening? All the corrupt banks are still in business, whereas the small businesses, everybody else, got to fend for themselves. So that isn't capitalism. If we had capitalism, the free market would set the regulations. The regulations will be set by us because we are the free market. If there's a free market, who controls? Who's the master? Who's the one that says what the price is, what I want, what kind of, the consumer. The consumer runs this. So in essence, the people run it. So if you have a free market society and these regulators are not in the way, what happens now? All these corporations, they cannot get away with the things that they were doing. They can't get away with these risks now because they got to be held accountable for the risks. They're not going to get bailed out. You know, they can't have automated systems on their phone lines and have you wait for 20 or 30 minutes before you talk to a representative, because another bank that isn't like that, is not crooked and cares about the people, aren't going to do that. And so all the people are going to leave and go to the smaller banks or go to those other banks and other corporations, other businesses that care about the people. But now you got the government giving handouts to certain people, certain corporations, and so they're keeping them in business. And these businesses and corporations and like banks, for example, can offer things that other businesses can't. And not because they're better, it's because they got better connections. For example, you know, Bank of America can give out way more car loans than a small bank can. You know, well, they can give out more loans to build community centers and shopping centers and things of that nature than these other banks can. So in essence, people are forced to work with these crooked banks and crooked corporations. Like I mean, these banks got ATMs everywhere. You know, so we got to remember that the free market, if in the free market, if somebody is doing a good job, the consumer is going to let them know that, and the consumer is going to keep coming back. And even if that corporation gets so big, quote unquote, too big to fail, that corporation has gotten big for a reason. They have a good product, they have good quality, good customer service, on time. So that's what we want. We want to reward people who are doing something, they're doing a job, not people that are sitting back, you know, looking out a window and drinking some scotch. We're not people like that ain't doing nothing. So we need to understand Occupy Wall Street. So let's reward those that are actually being productive. You know, not people that are you know, terrorizing the system, people that are taking risks with you and my 401k and pension money, you know, people that are basically crashing the dollar. We need to get them out of the way. So what's something that could bring us together? Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Party. What's something that we can agree on? It should be Occupy the media. I mean, the one thing that brings us together is our enemy. You know, I said it in my rhyme. This is the environment they all created. Now we all share a common enemy, so we all related. So the one thing that brings us together, whether, you know, we're brother, sister, black, white, whatever, you know, different type of neighborhoods, different parts of the city, one thing that brings us together is that we're all getting robbed by the system. We're all becoming slaves to the system. So that enemy is what brings us together. Now, who's protecting the enemy? Who's the biggest enemy or the biggest part of the enemy? You know, who's bigger than the biggest criminals? The media. So that's what we have to occupy, because they're the ones controlling the information. And that's all the time I have for you guys today. I should have more to come. I just want to leave you with this last segment I like to call, and never forget, some people are always up to no good. Peace, y'all.
Some people are up to no good.